Good evening, ladies and gentlemen out there in YouTube land. I am Deleted Scenes, human being, American YouTube Ronin. Already in the chat. The first one here, FKHC 2005, aka Tim. Faithful Blue Wrench, the bird woman of YouTube, Connie Cleary. Friend of the channel, JPRPH1. Host of Films with Friends, in which I will be appearing this Friday at 8 p.m. The creator of the 10-word review, Big Al Presents. Joining us from the future, Shashi. Penzak in the house. Host of Geeky Geezers tonight at 9 p.m. Co-host of Friday Night Last Call. And my co-host on Live from Sparkwood and 21. Ladies and gentlemen, Aged Boomer. Friend of the channel, Matt Sheetwood. Now, when I first conceived this episode, I wanted to take a look at the lighter side of things. You know, I was a little vitriolic last week, and I just decided I really didn't want to go there this week. And hello to my stalkerazzi Lady V Elements. Now, being as I have been ill this week, to the point where even up to this afternoon, I didn't know if I was going to be doing the show. And the fact that I had kind of a long week at work. And I work with a number of people and hello to Darth Plato. And I work with a number of people who are in the age group that are carrying on these protests right now. And and I see a lot of the same attitude from the protesters and some of the people that I work with. It's a lot of that same attitude. The unwillingness to listen, the mental gymnastics that they have to go through to explain themselves. And I decided, do I really need to tell you that these people are jokes? Now, you have the whole thing that is going on at Columbia University. You have this now infamous video, this press conference with this Johanna King Slutsky. I am not making that name up. This is the woman who went into the whole, I'm sorry, I guess not a woman because she considers herself a non-binary. But you know what? If it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's probably a fucking duck, you know? And I understand. Looks like a woman to me, you know. Now, she goes into this whole diatribe of, we are being violently kept away from going out and getting food. Well, okay, let's talk about that for a moment, all right? Now, my understanding of Columbia University, now, okay, I have never been there, but my understanding of Columbia University is there is like this food program where if you pay like X amount of dollars, you can get 3 good meals. There is a cafeteria. That cafeteria will have staff. And I would hope most likely food, So, I think they're pretty well off. There's also, from my understanding, a bodega across the street, which, holy smokes, guess what, kids? Has food. Yeah. Why don't you just go across the street and buy something? Now, yes, and probably a bordello somewhere nearby, I'm sure. Yeah, but, you know, I'm sitting here thinking, the only people who are stopping you from eating is you. you know, um, except for the fools who are going out on these quote unquote hunger strikes. And I don't know about you folks, but I'd be very curious to see how long these so-called hunger strikes last. Sorry, still muted. Now, this is something that I wanted to bring up. Matt brings up a pretty good point. Now, when victimhood is associated with higher social status, the outcome is easily foreseeable. Yeah, I mean, check this out. There's a story that's been floating around, and I've been looking into this off and on over the day. There is a fellow among the protesters who is the heir to a multi-million-dollar business. You know, you have these people who are like, oh, we are with you, my brother. We are also the victims. You know, and I've said this before on other shows. You cannot make me believe you are a victim when you live in a mansion, when you are an heir to a fortune, when you're driving around in a car that costs more than my house. You're just another rich, entitled prick. That's all you are. Now you're running around a college campus of a school that you don't even go to, wearing a hijab, screaming death to America. The country where your family was able to make all of that money. No, I'm not going to rant, Sashi, and I want to tell you why I'm not going to rant and why I just decided I'm just going to laugh at these people. Okay. Number one, I don't physically feel up to getting angry. I look at these people now with pity, sadness. It is indeed sad because these people are going to these so-called hallowed grounds of higher learning, but they're not learning anything. I think it's sad because I think we've lost an entire generation. I saw a video the other day where a Gen Zer asked what I thought was a very good question, which was, how did Gen X rise above all of this kind of racial nonsense? How come it didn't seem to affect us? And she got a really good answer, you know, which was, we were past it. We didn't look at skin color, We just hung out. Was racism around? Sure. But we weren't constantly talking about it. It wasn't constantly in our face every day, 24/7, like it is for people who are raised on social media. We are dealing with a generation that has been wrecked by social media. And that's a real shame because I feel like we've lost this entire generation. because they believe in what they're told by Twitter, by TikTok. They don't understand that you have to go to alternate sources to get the news. Because, folks, the news media is not on the side of the people. You know that. You don't need me to tell you. But maybe I do need to tell them, perhaps. And Darth Plato makes a good point here. Says, so there is no you to these people. You're just white or some other oppressor group. I got to tell you, one thing that does surprise me, I never expected to hear this racial BS from other whites. All right, I'm going to speak as a white man here. I'm going to speak as the whitest white man, and because I'm ill, I'm even more pale. Okay. Now, I never expected other white people to to tell me that I'm a scumbag because I'm white. And I look at these people and I go, and you don't know what you're talking about, clearly. You get this from these college professors, these activist professors, who taught you to hate your country. You go and you take down the American flag and you burn it or you stomp on it and you put up another flag, in this case, a Palestinian flag. Here's what I think should happen to you. You hate this country so much, get out. Not only get out, we will legally throw you out. And then we will send you to the country of the flag that you put up. And let me tell you something about Palestine. Okay? This is not for you, the audience. This is for if those college kids should happen to come across this broadcast. Here's a little something you want to know about Palestine. All right? Palestine does not care about your pronouns. Queers for Palestine. You know what they do to gay people in Palestine? They hang you, they behead you, they take you up to the top of the tallest building and they shove you off. That's what they do. You're supporting, you claim to be from this tolerant left, right? But tolerant left, I guess, doesn't mean anything if you're Jewish. Yeah, I'm just going to tell you straight. you know? White people have dominated human history for the past 500 years. I don't agree with that. Yeah, plenty of other groups of people have their own history that they can fall back on and that they can learn from. And hello to Wilkie's movies and music. That said, glad my grandparents are no longer with us. Yeah. Um, I know my dad would not be happy with us right now. I'm glad he's not seeing this. I think the tolerant left, i.e., classical liberalism, is the opposite of the progressive left we see today. Yeah, I mean there is a difference between a classical liberal and what has overtaken the party today. Of that, I do agree. And hello to Tree Rock Creations. Sides to the history, black legends of colonials, imperialism, all terms you see thrown around. This also ties to capitalism, which, according to Lenin, uh, colonialism, imperialism is purest form of capitalism, which is partly why capitalism is blind. Okay. I grew up in the 30s. Both my grandfathers fought World War II. So did mine. The definition has been changed. It used to mean that you have to disagree in order to respect differences of views. Now, tolerance means you have to agree and celebrate all. Yeah. Can we charge these people double tuition? I would like to, you know, because I want to hope that the parents of these college kids didn't raise them to be this way, didn't pay all that money just to get, and here's one of the things I wanted to make fun of, right? Now, we've all seen the video, right, of this woman when the cops are locking the kids in the building, right? Well, the kids took over the building, so the cops just said, "Okay, fuck it, contain them. Let's lock them in." So you lock them in. So I thought it was really funny. And you can hear that one girl go, "But it's finals week. I gotta go home." No, you don't. You care. You weren't caring about finals when you were vandalizing your school. You weren't thinking about finals when you were throwing rocks at your fellow Jewish students. You weren't thinking about finals while you were taking hostages. You weren't thinking about finals when you publicly supported a terrorist organization. So, don't tell me about finals. You weren't caring about them last week. Now, there have been some schools that have now said that they're going to hold those students who are seniors back from graduating. I think they should not only do that, I think they should throw them out of the school. I think they absolutely should throw them out of the school. Boomer says they're talking about removing federal funding for these universities, and I hope they do. But I think we're going to need a new administration in order to do that. Because the one currently in the White House hasn't said jack about any of this stuff. Now, I want to go back to the initial story that I brought up, which is this Joanna King Slutsky. And this might upset some people, but I'm just going to say it because I'm not the only person who has brought it up. Okay. If you see the footage with her, get a really good gander at the guy, quote unquote, who is standing behind her with the belly shirt and the mascara. Not a very good look. They go, "Oh, I'm sorry. This is your security? The Sparkle Fairy. Okay. Yeah, have fun with that. Here, take this. Take this rock, throw it at the cop over there with the machine gun, and I hope you have a good arm because a limp wrist isn't going to do it. That's something that and this is, again, I'm sorry, this is going to be controversial, but I got to say it. I'm getting tired of people who go gay in college to be trendy or decide to be sparkle fairies, which is what I got to call them now because I can't, because there's again a difference, because there's a difference between a classical liberal and a straight up commie Marxist bullshit that you see. There's a difference between someone who has chosen homosexuality as a lifestyle and is aware of who they are and lives their life the way they want to live, and that is perfectly fine. Go to it. I'm talking about, like I said, people who decide that they're gay to be trendy, or to be, part of the group, these women that you see walking around who are like, can't get a guy because A, they're either constantly hacking on men, or B, they're just fucking not attractive enough. Number one. And that's another thing that I've really seen slide on the women. I'm going to go off here for a little off topic here, but I'll bring it back. Ladies, I got to tell you something right now. We as men are not expecting every woman to be Sydney Sweeney, okay? Or in my dad's day, Raquel Welch or Anne Margaret or somebody. Or since I'm an 80s man, I'll say it, Shannon Tweed, okay? You get what I mean? Okay, make an effort to look attractive. All right, you're sticking all of this metal on your face. You're getting covered head to toe in tattoos. You treat every man you run into like they're a piece of shit. And then you wonder why you can't get a man. Okay? Don't go to Starbucks and cry into your double mochaccino lattes that you can't get a man. I can tell you exactly why you can't get a man. Because you're a bitch and you're ugly. Now, I'm no prize. I'm not getting any younger, but at least I try. I even got close to being married once. But she died. And until I'm over her, nobody's really going to matter. But that's me. I have an excuse. What's yours? So you get these women who are at these protests, okay? Who go into this whole spiel about, well, I'm non-binary because I can't get a guy. Because you're fuck ugly. Not only on the outside, but on the inside. Because I'll tell you something else, any self-serving man is not going to want. You know what? They don't tend to be attracted to women who go out and support terrorist groups. They say they'd rather be in the woods alone with a bear rather than a random man. Well, have fun when that bear is eating you. And not in a fun way, but in a revenant kind of way. My personal take on this issue is that we're seeing the early stages of collapse seen over and over in the Mastopia experiments. Yeah, it could be. It's part of the collapse, confusion, division, scary stuff out there. Yeah. And I'm saying, don't be divided. Because there's something that I've decided in the last couple of days. And I've decided that I'm going to just start calling a spade a spade. I'm going to laugh at these people. Because here's the thing. Here's another thing, okay? They keep railing against old white men. People with money, How do a number of these people get into college? College is expensive. Okay? You need to have one of two things. Okay? You either earn a scholarship or you better have somebody in your family who has a fuck ton of money, because that's how you're going to get in. Or, you have someone in your family who's somebody who knows somebody. Being somebody else is something special. That's number 3. All right. So don't go complaining to me about rich people when you're probably rich yourself. You want to know why I fucking hate Rage Against a Machine? Zach De La Rocha, Tom Morello. You know what? Those guys went to Beverly Hills fucking High. They're rich kids. So don't give me that bullshit that, you follow Malcolm X, or, the fuck you, I won't do it. They tell me you do everything they fucking tell you. You think you're a rebel? You were the first ones to tell somebody to go out and get the jab. So don't give me that shit, because I know you're full of it. Just like all of your Hollywood buddies. You're all full of it. We see through you now. Here's the one good thing about social media is we know who these people really are. And I'm going to bring it back. I'm going to bring it back to the second thing here a second, okay? Now, the two things they hate white men and they hate money. So they claim. You think these protests are happening by themselves? No. These protests are not happening by themselves. They're being paid off by people like George Soros, like Klaus Schwab, David Rockefeller. Guess what? All rich and white. These are people who have been trying to rip this country apart for their own ends for decades. And these college kids are too fucking dumb to understand. Bring back ridicule and normalize shaming people again. Because that's what I'm going to start doing. Because I'm tired of these people, man. $1984, exactly. 1984 was not a fucking instruction manual. It was a warning. I'm getting older now. And I don't like where I am in life. I have a job that I don't want to be in anymore. In a line of work that I have lost all taste for completely. I live in a town that was fairly quiet, that's now been built up into a small city. And with that, you get city problems. That's why my dad moved us here, to get us away from that. I want to live someplace that's quiet, where you don't have to worry about people breaking into your car and stealing your radio at night, where you don't have to worry about somebody shooting up the street to get to the drug dealer that lives 2 doors down. You know, someplace where you can actually count on the cops to actually fight crime instead of randomly fucking shooting at people. Or parking their cars somewhere out of the way for 8 hours and hoping nothing happens. I am not anti-law enforcement. I'm just saying the cops in my town fucking suck. So Mayberry then. Yeah. Why not? What's wrong with that? What's wrong with Mayberry? Maybe we need more Mayberries. I'm never going to live in a city again. What's the point? You know. And yes, and cops do get it rough now because you see here there's a difference here. You know, there are the cops who believe what it says on the side of the door, the whole to serve and protect. There are cops out there, and I'm willing to believe it's most of them who still believe that. The cops that are dealing with these protesters right now, because they know they're under a microscope. Because these protesters want the cops to kill somebody. They want their own George Floyd. Okay. And if that happens, God forbid, and they start crying, you know what? I'm not going to get upset. I'm going to look them all straight in the eye and go, well, gee, didn't you want to be martyrs? Because guess fucking what, children? A martyr stands in the front of the line and takes the first hit. You know, yeah, that tape that they had of one of the BLM protests. I remember what that woman said. Put all the white allies out front. BLM does not give a fuck about white allies. The Palestinians in Gaza do not give a shit about any of these sparkle fairies who are doing their little cosplay out on these college campuses. And they're not going to figure that out because they're too dim. Because they believe what their activist teachers have been telling them. They believe what they see on TikTok or what they're told by the mainstream media. They're incredibly stupid people. And we've all had a good laugh at their expense. And I've brought up a few examples of that tonight. You know. But at the same time, we have to understand who is behind these protests, who's truly behind these protests. And it's not the Johanna King Slutskys of the world. It's not these non-binary girls who can't get laid. It's not these, sparkle fairy little boys who like to wear women's dresses, Okay. It's people like George Soros, like Klaus Schwab, like David Rockefeller, and they want to destabilize us. They need us. divided, because a divided people are easier to conquer. They are more easily cowed into submission. And with that demonetized, I probably will be. If I am, fine. Oligarchs, yeah. And we've been warned about these people for years. And hello, Thade. There must be one cephalopod in every chat. Cephalopods unite. All right. Try having a meaningful relationship. Agreed. But necessarily treat the ones behind the movement the same way I think we should treat useless idiots on camera. Weaponization, yeah. All right. Now, I did say I didn't want to go off on a rant, and I probably did a little bit, but I hope I brought at least a little bit of humor to it too, and have people understand that we are under attack right now, and there are people inside mainstream media, in Hollywood, in our colleges, who are encouraging this. And we need to be able to call them out for what they are. I have to see people like this every day. I have to deal with it every day. I have to go to work. The same kind of attitude. And I'm going to call people on their shit. That's just how it is. Because I'll tell you something very simply. I am somebody who does not like being talked down to. And I know for a fact that there are those of you in this chat, people who might be following along on Twitter right now. And if you are, I can't see you, but I know that you're there. Thank you for watching. And hello to Bella Triggerfish. No, nobody's burning crosses in my yard just yet. But I'm worried we're getting there, though. It's just not coming from the people I was expecting. Missed the beginning. What's the topic? Oh, I'm basically making fun of the college kids who are protesting right now. That's basically it. I can't take these protesters seriously, even though I feel like they're intended to scare people into giving up more freedoms in return for the illusion of safety. Yeah. I mean, that's what the beer bug was about. You know what? Get this, government mandated medications jabbed into your arm, or place yourself under house arrest. And I chose neither because I didn't do anything wrong. Agree with you 100%. I just got that talked down to by a youngster from another country when it comes to our politics. Yeah. You know what I have to say to people who come from other countries, who come into this one and start talking down to us? I'm talking about like the Trevor Noahs of the world. Trevor Noah from South Africa, the home of apartheid and blood diamonds, has no fucking cause to come to my country and tell me how screwed up it is. Go, all right, you listen up, you motherfucker. You go, you fix your own country. I'll stay here and I'll fix mine. You are the host of a low-rated cable show. I don't get in your face and tell you what to do with your country. But you know what? I'm going to start doing exactly that, though. Yeah, and that's what last week's episode was about. Fish was, in fact, I think I called it the current thing last week's episode. Where, like I said, I basically just screamed for like 73 minutes. But I'm not going to go as long tonight. Mainly because Geeky Geezers is on in a couple of minutes, and I want to send everybody over there and Wrenches, get the Geeky Geezers link into chat, please, so we can send everybody over there. As well said, not from this country. You have no right to tell an American about what's going on here, although, to be frank, as a permanent resident, things do affect my life here. True. Don't realize it's an illusion yet. It's the only reason they still stand with it. They will learn when they lose someone to it. Yeah. I was raised in this country. I've lived here for 35 years, which I guess makes me an American. Close enough. Still on a man if you're planning to be here longer. Yeah. There was something that was set in, and Matt Sheetwood, you got this down perfectly, man. I think I'm going to close out with this. They are like Teletubbies pretending to be brown shirts. Fucking exactly. Yes. Thank you. Matt Sheetwood, you win the chat tonight. All right, kids. We have 2 quick segments left to go in the show before we head on over to Geeky Geezers and say hello to Boomer and the gang. And what I want to do is a quick what's on your shelf segment. All right. Now, some of you might have seen the Netflix movie from last year called The Killer, that had Michael Fassbender and Tilda Swinton in it, and was directed by David Fincher. Now, what some of you might not know is that movie is actually based on a comic book. And I was going through some stuff. Hi, folks. I was going through some stuff upstairs a couple of days ago. And I didn't realize that I had even bought this, but this is actually one of the comic books that film was based on. And so I'm looking forward to kind of picking up the rest of these. And based on what I'm seeing here of the pages that I've leafed through as far as the cinematography of the film and the panels of the comics. They're pretty similar, I've noticed. So anyway, the What's on My Shelf segment, The Killer, the original comic books. All right, now that we have about a few minutes left, and hello to Janet from Another Planet. Hello, good to see you. We're about to wrap it up. If anybody has any quick questions for me, now's the time. I'll give you a minute to type it in. Now, I will be going on with The Other Side of Midnight at 12:05 Eastern. Might be a bit of a truncated show, but I am going to try to get through it. I made it through this, and I made it through Western Cinema with Bill earlier, so I think I'm on the mend. I do want to remind everybody that Live from Sparkwood in 21 will continue on Tuesday, 8:30. I'm going to be joining Bill on Wednesday for episodes 6 and 7 of Fallout. That'll be at 7 p.m. And, of course, catch me right here Thursday nights at 11:30, right after Netters Network finishes with our Thursday Things broadcast, and find out what I'm going to be doing over the next week, because I do have some stuff planned. Please put in the link where you got the comic in the chat. I got the comic at a local store called Soundwave. And I'm actually, once they do their grand reopening, because they moved recently, once they do their grand reopening, I want to do a show from there. So I'm definitely going to be talking about it a little bit more. So yeah. So Twin Peaks Tuesday night, Fallout Wednesday night, then of course my weekend update on Thursday. I'm going to be doing more film reviews coming up, and I also have a read what I want to have an update on the read what you own challenge that I have coming up as well. Fallout was cool. What I've seen so far, yes. Let me see if I can find Geeky Geezers real quick. All right. Bear with me a moment. I'm going to get it in the chat here, because I think they're already a few minutes in. Copy link. Okay. All right, there it is, folks. That is the link to Geeky Geezers. Follow me over there. I've reached the point where I've just decided that I'm going to call a spade a spade. And if somebody's being foolish, I'm going to tell them. If I think they're being a racist, I'm going to tell them. I am going to start talking back at these people. Because I do not feel that and I don't feel that you deserve that kind of vitriol. As far as I'm concerned, everybody in this chat, everybody who subscribes to my channel, anybody who might be listening who's new, you're good people. And you deserve better. So start clapping back at these people who want to keep you down. No more Mr. Nice Guy. We gave those people the UDU treatment for too long. They just don't do that when they force their BS on us. Exactly. Exactly. And from now on, that's what I'm going to do. If that gets me demonetized, fine. If that gets my channel, as Pop Culture Minefield would say, ganked, fucking fine. There are other places I can go. You deserve better. If they won't give it to you, you go out and get it. From HQ and all points north, south, east, west, and beyond. Good night. Take care. Be strong, because this is how we win.